Hello, this is Dale Paget Sr., founder and national director of VMAG TV, with a special message that is near and dear to my heart. The month of April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Every 2 minutes, someone is sexually assaulted. Many times by people they know, sometimes by family members, and even by their own parent. Recently, I had the opportunity to speak with Amazon best-selling author Kenni and Mrs. Phyllis Miller, the executive director of the DeKalb Rape Crisis Center. I'm asking that you watch this video in its entirety as they share with you what they are doing to make a difference, how you can help, and hear Kenni's own story as a sexual assault survivor. Thank you. This is Dale Paget with V-Talk Atlanta on VMAG TV. I'm here with Ms. Kenni York, Amazon best-selling author, and Ms. Phyllis Miller, the executive director of the DeKalb Rape Crisis Center. We have quite a bit to talk about today. I guess we'll start with you, Kenni. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you've accomplished as an author.
A little bit about myself. I am from Atlanta, and as he said, I am an author. I have about 8 titles out, including my best-selling, gotta put a plug in, The Girls, and my Karma series, which is urban fiction. I do a little bit of everything, really. I have my own company, Kenni Enterprises, and we do copy editing, proofreading, consultations for other people that are aspiring authors. We do creative writing classes for adults and youth all throughout Metro Atlanta. Various things, anything literary, I'm pretty sure we can do it. So.
Awesome. And you mentioned your book, The Girls. Now, when it first came out, it was #1 on Amazon's Hot New Releases, correct?
Right.
And then from there, it reached #5 on Amazon's bestsellers list.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. That's a great accomplishment. So definitely sounds like that's a book that's worth going out and picking up. I know that you are an Army wife and a mother. How do you juggle being a military spouse, a mother, an author, and being so involved in the community?
The honest answer to that question is, I have no idea. I am tired. I have 3 little people that run me around, drive me crazy, but I love them to death, and I just do it. Whatever needs to be done, I do it, pray on it, get 3 hours of sleep and move on.
Hey, I understand that 3 hours of sleep. I definitely understand that. Tell me a little bit about Kenni and I.
Kenni and I is kind of like a therapeutic group section that I do every so often with a group of girls at risk youth. The organization I do that through is Create Your Dreams, and it's in Atlanta, Georgia. So the girls and I would get together. We have a book club. Sometimes we read books, and our discussion is tailored around whatever book we read. But the discussions is kind of an opportunity to get the girls to talk to me about whatever it is that's going on in their life, and me to relate to them and kind of help them out just in a relaxed setting.
Awesome, awesome. And I know that you also do an annual book drive.
Yes.
And I was reading up on you a little bit.
I see.
And I noticed that your platform is educating, enlightening, and entertaining. Can you expound on that a little for us?
Because everything that I do, I try to do it with a creative flair so that you get something out of it. It's entertaining, you're having fun with it. I'm teaching you something new, and I'm educating you, giving you a little bit more information about something you probably already knew a little bit about. But I believe that me being an author, I should be making a difference and not just making $1.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So how are the youth responding to you?
You know, the kids love me.
You would say that,
yeah,
right?
Of course, seriously.
Of course.
They do. I don't know if it's maybe my little squeaky voice when I'm talking to them, or with the girls, the teenage girls. I mean, I don't look like I'm a teenager, but I think they feel a connection to me because I am younger than probably some of the people that facilitate their day-to-day activities at the organizations and schools that they go to. So I'm for real. The kids love me.
All right, I like that. And I know people might wonder why we have Ms. Miller sitting, who is the executive director of the DeKalb Rape Crisis Center, sitting next to you, an author. What would you guys have in common? So you want to share a little bit about what you guys are getting ready to put together?
We are having a benefit event. It's entitled Let Your Voice Be Heard, and it is a benefit for National Sexual Assault Awareness Month. That is a mouthful.
Yes.
And the benefit, the proceeds from the benefit will go towards the DeKalb Rape Crisis Center. That's where Ms. Miller comes in.
Okay, so
yes.
That's a good segue to you, Ms. Miller. Thank you for waiting so patiently. Wow, we let Kenni just run her mouth and talk about it.
She's an author. She's known for that. So that's her area of expertise. She's warm, she's genuine, and that's why people respond to you, especially teens.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. So we're having fun with this, but we're here for a very serious reason.
Absolutely.
A very serious reason. The Rape Crisis Center. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the DeKalb Rape Crisis Center is the only comprehensive sexual assault center in DeKalb County. We serve primarily sexual assault survivors from DeKalb, but we also see survivors from surrounding counties, in particular Rockdale, Henry, because there's no rape crisis center in every county in Georgia, so we see others from communities that have no center. We also have the only teen therapy program for sexual assault survivors in Metro Atlanta. So we see teens from all over Metro Atlanta, and this would be people primarily over the age of 13. So that's the 13 to 18-year-olds. We do individual therapy, and we also provide groups. We have an adult trauma survivors group, and we also have an ongoing adult support group. And these meet every week at the center, and there are avenues, in this case for women, but we also serve men and boys as well.
You know, that's a great point that you made, because I think a lot of people, when they think rape crisis or sexual assault, they automatically think girls, but the truth is an extraordinary amount of young men are sexually assaulted as well.
And we've had some noteworthy cases right here in DeKalb County. And I think we have to talk about boys and men. While most survivors are in fact female, most perpetrators are in fact male. So it's a family problem, and it's a problem in our whole community. And it's been a problem for many generations. In fact, most people are assaulted by people they know. We hear more about the stranger assaults. They're the ones that are on TV and they get a lot of press attention. But most people are actually assaulted by people they know, people in their families, acquaintances, and so forth.
Right. And I was looking at some statistics. Every 2 minutes it says someone is being sexually assaulted.
Yes, and unfortunately the numbers are high, but we don't hear a lot about them because so few are reported. In DeKalb we have only about a 60% reported rate for police reports. So that means 4 out of 10 people who are assaulted never talk to the police, never talk to other professionals in this area.
Wow, so you can add another 40% to the 200,000 assault victims annually. Wow. So I can imagine the difficulty that you see every day with families involved, especially when it's a member of the family that's committing the assault.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would like to maybe just look into the camera and say to someone out there that might have an issue with a family member that's afraid to come forward?
Yes. Even though you may not want to file a police report, services are still available to you. We have a 24-hour emergency crisis line where a trained advocate can talk to you about your options, and we also have services at the center. The other point I'd like to make is sexual assault does not have to define you for the rest of your life. I think we do a great job helping people get back to the level of functioning they had before sexual assault.
Absolutely.
We're seeing people who were recent assault survivors, as well as people who were assaulted as children who are now adults, and we see people over a range of years. We actually have survivors who are in their 70s, who were assaulted 50 and 60 years ago, and still have issues in terms of the trauma. And it doesn't go away if you don't get any help. And I think that's one of the key points, is people are dealing with issues related to their assault for many, many years in some cases.
Wow. And Kenni, I would think that, you know, people look at you as a best-selling author and think that you're just doing your part, or that you're just doing your philanthropic work or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that there's a reason that this is so dear to you. Would you care to share a little bit about that with us?
It's so dear to me because I am a sexual assault survivor. And when you were talking about it usually is a family thing that goes unreported, well, that happened to me. When I was 14, I was molested by my father. It didn't go unreported. We did report it, but not right away. And I think that I understand why those incidents usually do go unreported. It's a hard thing to deal with, especially when it's somebody that's supposed to love you. You know, a parent, you don't really want to run up and tell on your parent or whatever. It's a lot of psychological and emotional stuff that goes on with that. But yeah, that's why it's so dear to me. And you were right, it is something that doesn't just go away, because that happened to me when I was 14. I'm 30 now, not to be telling my age, but it has stuck with me, and I can say that it has affected all of my relationships, not just relationships that I've had with men, but relationships that I've had with anybody, even my mother, and she wasn't there when it happened. It's that trust thing for me. Like, I have this wall up. I expect people to hurt me, maybe not in a sexual manner, but because I was hurt by someone who loved me, I expect other people to do that. So it's a psychological thing with me. I can also say that when it happened to me, I never did get counseling. I lived with my father and my stepmother, so when I came back home to my mother after it happened, not to say anything negative about my mom, because she did the best she could, but she never sent me to counseling. You know, I'm 14, I don't think I could have sent myself. But
Absolutely not. We have to have
right.
approval from parents in order to see teens.
Exactly, and she never sent me, and once I became an adult, I never sought counseling for myself. I figured, hey, I've gone this long, I might as well just keep on going. But I wrote a book. It's a poetry book. It's called A Girl's Perspective, My Life in Poetry. And I dedicated it to my father, and I did that as a way of saying, I forgive you. Not necessarily for you, but for me, so that I can try to move past it and let go. And some of the poems that are in that book were poems that I wrote like after I came back home. So some of them are about him or about the experience. But now that I'm grown up and I've worked past it, or I think I'm working past it, doing this event is kind of my way of further, you know, letting go and reaching out to other people who are going through the same thing or have been through it, and letting them know that, just like you said, it doesn't define you, and you can move past it. There is life after it. It doesn't have to consume you.
But I think you made two really good points. One, most of our survivors have issues of trust, because most people are assaulted by people they trust, people they're close to. That's the first point. And the second point I think the audience needs to be aware of, it's not unusual for children not to report for long periods of time. There are some people who were assaulted at age 10, never had any discussion even within their family until 5-6 years later. And we find that in particular with children, so that's not unusual. And I think most of us understand why, because these are the same people you were dependent on for everything, day in and day out. So it takes a lot of strength and a lot of support to get people to file those reports. So we understand why there's a problem with reporting. It's true of other types of assault as well, but in particular sexual assault. So many of our survivors talk about feeling ashamed, talk about feeling unsupported by their family, who are normally the people you would look to for support. But if that same group of people are involved in the abuse, then you have this push and tug in terms of the person's development and what they're feeling in that family.
Wow. You guys just give me a second to gather myself. That's powerful.
I think it's powerful that you're sitting here. In fact, before we started, I always make a point of asking people, you know, is there any special reason they want to work with the Sexual Assault Center, or if they have any history. And Kenni had just shared that she had some concerns and a history early on in her life. And it's important to know, because we don't want to be in a situation where we re-traumatize people. And it can be re-traumatizing for some. And that's why we like to make sure the public knows they can call us. They don't have to give detailed information. Some folk don't even want to give their real name. And we have a 24-hour number. And if you don't mind, I'll give everybody
yes,
that.
please, give
that number is 404-377-1428. And a trained advocate will talk with them and help them make plans for where they go from there.
And give out your website as well.
Our website is www.DeKalb-RapeCrisisCenter.org.
Okay, and Kenni, how can individuals get in touch with you, read up more on you, and audio books and things of that nature?
All of that can be done via my website, which is www.KenniYork.com. And Kenni is spelled Kenni.
Kenni with an I.
Kenni with an I.
Kenni with an I. Beautiful. So let's talk for a moment about the actual event. What's the name of the event again?
Let Your Voice Be Heard.
Let Your Voice Be Heard. And can you tell us a little bit about the name? What do you want people to gather from the significance of that name?
What I want people to gather is, so often I think when you have been victimized, you feel silenced. The not talking about it, the keeping it to yourself, the not sharing it with your family. I think I want to encourage other people to stop being silent. Let's talk about it. Raise your voice, say something, be heard. So let your voice be heard.
And we call that advocacy. And clearly, through our collaboration with Kenni, you're such an advocate for others who've had this type of experience, and we appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with you as well.
I'm excited.
We are as well.
And I'm glad just to have the opportunity to sit and speak with both of you and be enlightened and quite frankly be touched. But please express to the people that this is not just about a program, entertainment. Yes, there are going to be great entertainers there, but also share how important it is that people buy tickets, that they buy tickets early, because this is a very, very important event. And it's not just about the entertainment.
Right. And I think for the center, the big issue is, and many of you may be aware of this, we've been in the news recently actually saying to the public, we're not a DeKalb County program, which means there's no governmental structure out there that's paying for us to do all the services we're doing in this community. We're getting about 60% of the costs associated with the services from grants, namely the Governor's Office for Child and Family, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, and DeKalb County Human Development. But we have to raise that uncovered portion of our budget in order to keep individual therapy and groups and the crisis line operating. We accompany people to the hospital, and we have other direct costs for victims. There are some emergency services that we're able to pay for victims who we see at the hospital or at the center. So these things require actual money to pay for the services. And through her work, we're hoping to be able to get some other revenue dollars to continue operating, frankly, at the level we're doing right now.
Well, you can count me in on that too. You got another advocate. I know some people, and we're going to see if we can try to fill this event hall up. And matter of fact, how many will it seat? Do you know?
Honestly, 70 people. And what we're doing, we're charging for the tickets, of course, but we're also asking for donations and sponsorships from different businesses inside of DeKalb County. So all of that money together should be able to help.
So it's a smaller venue this time. Because basically, quite honestly, it had to be something you could cover out of your pocket if these tickets don't sell.
It had to. Look, I had to do what I could do.
I know that's right. So I mean, so that's wonderful. You're stepping out. You're stepping up and stepping out, and you're saying, I'm going to take this upon myself. This is the venue that I can get, and this is where we're going to start this thing. But I'm believing that this year we're going to have so many people that next year we're going to have to get a bigger venue, and we're going to have more corporate sponsorship, because that's what's going to be needed.
Right.
The people who have done well for themselves in the community, individuals and businesses, are going to have to step up. This is a very important issue, and it touches everyone. And we really need to get the word out about this. So we at VMAG TV are glad to be doing our part to help you get the word out. Is there anything else that you want to cover that we didn't cover?
No, but we can't stress enough that we need people to come on and buy these tickets.
Well, look in the camera and talk to them. Tell them what you want them to know, darling.
I want you to know that we need you. Your county needs you. Your communities need you. People who are out there being victimized need you to help them get the strength to let their voice be heard. Tickets can be purchased on my website. That's www.kenniyork.com. Donations can also be placed through that website. We need sponsorships. So any business or even an individual that wants to be a sponsor. I have some authors that are sponsoring. Anything, every little bit helps, and we can't do it without you. I can't do it without you. We can't do it without you. We need everybody's involvement, everybody, and it's going to be great talent there at the event. We'll have, what will we have? Singers. People will be performing monologues, spoken word artists. Some authors are going to come share excerpts from their books. We'll have, did I say the comedian? Just lots of different talent, but that's a bonus.
Now the comedian better be funny.
He's funny.
He's funny.
He's funny. But like I was saying, that the showcase is the extra added bonus. It's the cherry on top, but the ice cream and cake is you getting involved, period.
The majority of our clients are African American or people of color. And so it's important that folk in our community are aware of this issue and step up to the plate in order to contribute. We actually have some free services for therapy for recent assault survivors, which is really important in this community. Therapy is averaging $100 to $150 an hour, and we're able to do that for minimal cost of about $40 an hour right now, with the community support and with events like this offsetting some of the expenses.
Thank you for taking the time to view this riveting interview in its entirety. Now I call upon you, VMAG TV viewers across the country. I ask that you do one of three things for me. If you are not in the Atlanta area, go to www.Kenni with an I, that's Kenni York, YORK.com, and make a donation to this worthy cause. If you can, please donate the cost of at least one ticket, which is $7. If you can't do 7, do 5, 2, or even $1. Every little bit helps. So please do something, and do it now. Please don't wait, because you might forget. If you are in the Atlanta area, we ask that if you can be with us that night, go now to KenniYork.com and buy a ticket to the event. Do it now. Please don't wait. And if you can't be with us that night, once again, we ask that you go to KenniYork.com and just make a donation. Whatever you can do will be greatly appreciated. We're just asking that you stand up and let your voice